everybody. I'm Coach Fiesler, head baseball coach at Park City High School. This is my 4th season as the head coach. We are lucky enough to be joined by some alums today. One of my favorite parts of this job is connecting and reconnecting with our alumni and talking to them about what they've been doing. And then hopefully they come back and share their experiences with the new group of players. So I'm going to introduce everybody and then ask them questions, starting with Ryan Brady, 2017 alum. Just reading out some ridiculous stats. So I was going through all the stats on you guys in the last couple of years. Pretty unbelievable seasons that you guys put together. Ryan, did you know your ERA in 2017? Do you know what your ERA was in 2017?
I know it was less than 1.
It was .406. Is that good?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, last time I checked, good. How about this one? 102 strikeouts in 69 innings. Is that good?
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's all right.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty dang good season for Mr. Brady there. So Ryan's played at BYU, recently went out on a mission and plans to continue playing when he's done with the mission. 2018 grad Sam Strader. 78 strikeouts in 70 innings in 2018, and 2017 was actually a really good year for you too, Sam. It was fun kind of going back on the stats. 1.9 ERA that senior year, and then lower than that your junior year in 2017. And then Ben, 2019 grad, Ben Agnew. The number that stood out to me on Ben was the OPS, so on base plus slugging's a number that I like. Way better metric than batting average. 1.235 OPS, 23 RBIs, 11 doubles, 2 triples. How'd you hit 2 triples, Ben?
I don't know. I should have had 3 too, but I think you were holding me up.
Oh yeah, I was giving you the stop sign. Right. Yeah, and then 2 bombs, and I bet at least one of the bombs is on kind of your highlights that I'm going to ask you about in a second. But yeah, I just want to get started with some highlights from you guys. You guys all graduated in different years, but you also all played on the 2017 team together. So starting with Ryan, like, what are some highlights for you from your high school baseball career?
I think my highlights that I look back on now are playing shortstop when I wasn't pitching, because now I'm just a PO, and I miss playing shortstop and hitting in the lineup. So kind of just hitting. I don't have too many highlights. I didn't really hit any home runs. It's just I hit for average. I miss stealing bases. That was always a highlight. But definitely the highlights of my career were pitching, and I threw 1 no-hitter each year from sophomore to senior year. And 2 of those were against the same team, which was really fun. And so I'd say those are my highlights. And then playing in the playoffs our senior year when we won our first 2 games on that Saturday. We beat, I think it was Morgan, and then we played Desert Hills in a 0-0 game until the end, and we scored 1 in the bottom of the last inning.
Zach Luna, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Luna's coming on next week, hopefully.
Good.
Brian, are you still the record holder? I think this is right. The all-time state record holder for consecutive scoreless innings. Do you know if that's still a thing?
I don't check the record books, but
I do. It's still a thing.
hopefully.
Do you know how many innings it was when you set that record?
No.
I got to ask your dad. He'll know. For sure.
No, I'm not sure.
Cool. How about you, Sam? Highlights from high school baseball career?
My highlight is definitely the Desert Hills game, my junior year that Ryan talked about. That was probably the most fun baseball game I've ever played in. Having Ryan pitching incredible that game too, and then just having a close game the whole time and then walking it off. But that was definitely my highlight for sure.
Awesome. Any offensive highlights for you, Sam?
After my car crash my senior year, and then hitting the best I hit my entire life, that was definitely really fun going through that last half of the season, that stretch. That's finally learning how to hit.
Crazy story, man. You were hitting like 160 before that car accident, and then you were kind of banged up for like a day. I think you sat out that Loman game.
Yeah.
Not that we needed you, but It was, and then he just popped off and hit like 500 the rest of the season. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. That was definitely a senior year highlight for sure. One of my favorite at Park City.
Yeah. Awesome, man. How about you, Ben? What are some highlights as our most recent grad?
For me, that 27 year, it wasn't consecutive games, but that Stansbury region game, and then the Desert Hills game, and then the Pineview game. Like the Stansbury game, Ryan and Mitch McIntyre throwing that together in like 0 degrees. And just like, that was just a battle that I've always remembered, which was really fun. And then just, we've talked about the Des Hills game, and then the Pineview game was just like a crazy baseball game where I think Ryan like was taken out and then put back in, like just crazy things happening.
We'll have to ask Luna about that.
Yeah, ask him about that one.
Put it up that way,
just like
walk off.
Yeah, 3 walk-offs, so those were way fun. And then my senior year, that region game against Tooele, I think we were down 4-0 in the 7th, and we came back and put up 5 against a pretty good arm. So that was a really fun game too. I think we won on a walk-off error by the first baseman. Yeah, but that was a fun game to see like what that team was about. Even though we didn't always play up to that level, that was a fun game for me as well.
Yeah, that game, I mean, is up there. There's a lot of games from that 2017 season that are in like the best games that I've ever watched, played in, coached, like some really good ones. But that Tooele game in 2019, that was pretty unreal. You go leadoff bomb in the 7th, right? And then it was like double, triple, walk off something against a Division I arm. That was pretty awesome. What about 2018 season, Sam? What were some notable games, some memorable games from your senior year?
Ooh, let me think. I would honestly say that Snow Canyon game. It was the final game of the season. We lost that game, but that's one that sticks out to me. And it was just, I started that game, and it was just like a really close game the whole time, and it was just a battle between the pitchers, and then they ended up winning that game. But that game was a lot of fun. That sticks out to me for sure.
And then the Ridgeline game 1 in the playoffs was a good game. And
yeah.
Game 2 that year, Wyatt kind of pitched his butt off against Dixie, I think it was. So.
Oh yeah, when we were at Dixie.
Yeah.
He pitched really well that game.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, a lot of memories, a lot of highlights. It's fun going back and looking at the stats, but it's more fun talking to you guys about what you remember. Ben, what are some like life lessons type stuff that you learned coming through the high school program for 4 years, and kind of what does it mean to you to be a minor?
Yeah, I think since we just talked about that Stansbury game too, like if you take it back to earlier in the season, I wasn't playing my best, and I was kind of fighting for a spot at that point. And I remember that first game against Stansbury was probably the worst game of my life. I think I went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and made a lot of errors in the field, maybe 3 or 4. But like just getting through that, and like that was a huge mental thing for me. Like I knew physically and like ability wise I could play, but mentally I wasn't there yet. And I kind of needed those hard times to get me through. And just going through that season, and then keep battling, and then getting that reward in that region game when we were able to beat Mitch and beat a good team for the region championship. I think that story right there kind of sums up my time as a Park City minor. It was never easy. It was always a battle, especially mentally, but those are the things that I've taken away. Like Coach Fees just mentioned, Ryan and I have been on our missions, and we've just been sent home because of the coronavirus. And that's been really tough mentally. I know for me, just being so busy every day to now being stuck at home and even on the mission every day is a mental battle. And so it's fun to remember all of the good things that happened while I was a minor. But the things that I learned from the hard times and the mental things that I learned are really what I've taken away with me and have helped me post high school.
Awesome. So stuff that not just applies to baseball, but kind of is bigger than the game, I would say. Would you agree, Ben?
Yeah, for sure. Things that aren't always super fun and things that you don't realize in the moment will help you later on. But those are the things that really you take away.
Definitely, definitely. How about you, Ryan? So 2 years at BYU, right? But thinking back to high school days, like what kind of helped you? What'd you learn in your high school experience? I only had it for 1 year, but kind of high school in general, what was kind of your big takeaways?
Well, I think a big thing that I learned baseball wise was I had 3 years at Park City and we were pretty good. My sophomore year, my first year, and then we had a bunch of people graduate that year. And the next year, our starting lineup was pretty much completely different. We had like 2 returning contributors, and we did not have a good year. And then the following year, we came back with pretty much the same lineup with a couple additions, but then we had a fantastic season. And I think it had a lot to do with the attitude. My senior year, our whole team, every game we went into, we never felt like we were out of it from the beginning. Like when we stepped on the field with Desert Hills, who, the St. George teams, they're known to be super good. I don't think anyone on our team doubted that we were going to win that game or that we could win that game. And so we were in it. So just that change from junior to senior year with pretty much the same team, but kind of 2 seasons that were worlds away, that kind of shows that any team can win, as long as there's kind of a team camaraderie.
So you're saying culture matters a little bit.
Yeah, and another thing is that was different about that team than other teams that I've been on is I think the whole time we were all best friends, and even to this day, I feel like a good amount of our team keeps in touch. Like, I mean, I talk to Sam and Ben still pretty consistently.
How about you, Sam? So 2 years at Mount Hood, hopefully soon land in a new school for next year. But looking back to high school, what are some memories, some life lesson stuff that has stayed with you?
Probably one of the biggest things is like the brotherhood that I have with like all my teammates, and it's like going through high school. It's usually the kids that you've grown up playing with for like the most part. So just kind of like being really close with them and having that like tight knit group of like really good friends going into it, and then what Ryan was talking about, knowing that we're gonna win, and like just having like that competitive nature with all of us, and knowing like we all want to be there, we all want to compete to win, and then even like after high school, like we all like I still talk to a bunch of people from high school, and like I'm still close with the teammates, and like we're always checking in and seeing how everyone's doing and making sure like everyone's fine. So just having that like brotherhood kind of something that like really stuck with me when I left high school.
I love that. I love that. And I think there's a reason why you guys are doing this with me still. You still care about the program. I see your parents coming out to games. Matt only comes to home games and he shows up late. But and then when I get ejected, he goes and coaches third. It's awesome. It's perfect. But yeah, that brotherhood part is huge. I mean, for me, I've learned a lot in the last 4 years, I would say. And the biggest thing is is just that brotherhood piece, and that culture does matter, and that oftentimes, like Ben was saying, when you're 14, 15 years old, you might have all the physical tools in the world, but you might not be able to compete on the field yet because your mind's not right. So those are kind of my big takeaways. What about let's go back to Sam. So how has college baseball been for you, and like how did you feel prepared, I guess, for college baseball?
I felt pretty prepared going into it, just having you helping me a lot that summer as well, and even senior year of high school get a lot better. So I think I was well prepared, but the one thing I wasn't really prepared for is how the game kind of speeds up on you. And everyone always says the game's going to speed up and it's going to speed up, but I didn't really realize it until I actually got there. And it's a small JUCO in Oregon, but I was still kind of like, all right, like these dudes can still play. Like everyone's a lot better than in high school, and these dudes can still play for sure. So that was something that I had to kind of get used to in the fall. And then one of the other big things is for me is just moving away from home, living 12 hours away, just life experiences, living on my own, having to go to the store for myself, like cook dinner every night, just stuff like that. Just kind of like learning how to live by myself at 18 years old was also huge for me and helped me mature a lot more as well.
How about you, Rise? How has college baseball been, and how did you feel prepared, I guess, for your college career?
So for me, I feel like my college baseball experience has been a little bit different because I haven't quite gotten as much playing time as I would like so far because I had to get Tommy John surgery, after playing 2 games my freshman year, and so I missed that whole season and then half of the next season. It was still kind of coming back, but something that I feel like prepared me for that or for college baseball is I think a lot of people don't understand that college baseball takes up a lot of time, a lot of work. I mean, you got to be committed, and I think we were prepared for that going through Park City because we had a lot of opportunities for extra work. We could go hit at the field whenever we wanted. We could, me and Sam, and I think Ben did it the next year, but we went and worked out at that CrossFit gym. Any opportunity really that we had to put in work, we did that. And that definitely prepares you for college because in college, it's not optional. You're waking up every day at 5 to go work out, and then you got a full school day just like any other student. And then you got to go to a 4-hour practice and then do your studies just like any other student. So, the opportunities that we had at Park City to put in extra work and really, dedicate ourselves while we're still keeping up our grades, that's kind of what prepared us, I think.
And Ben, how about you, like future thinking? I know it's a long ways out, especially with all the new developments. Are you still planning on playing college ball? And if so, what are you kind of thinking on that?
Yeah, I'm still planning on playing when I get back. I think right now with the virus and things like that, if I have a year off from the mission, I can kind of use that as a opportunity to get back into baseball shape and kind of prepare for. I have about 18 months left after on my mission. So I think for sure I'll use this year to kind of get back into shape and see what I can do with the new facility and stuff like that. But yeah, at first, like when I was gone, I was so focused on adjusting to my new life and stuff that I wasn't thinking about home or baseball or anything. And then as soon as I kind of got comfortable, I started thinking a lot about baseball and the guys and the memories that we've been talking about. So it's definitely something that I'm planning to do when I get back.
Awesome. I want to ask all 3 of you guys this question. So I want you to, new question. I want you to kind of imagine that every youth player in Park City is watching this interview, which I fully expect everyone to. Let's do this. So if you could kind of put yourself back in the youth baseball realm, what are some pieces of advice that you would give yourself? If you could go back and give yourself a little advice, or if you could give all of our youngsters a little bit of advice. Let's start with Ben. What would you give them? What would you tell them about their baseball careers, about managing their time, anything you got?
Mm-hmm. I think the number one thing would probably be to be humble going into it, going into your high school career, going into every single game. I love the quote that Coach Fees always says that there's 2 type of people in the world, those who are humble and those who are about to be. And I think if you have that humble attitude, then you'll do the things that Sam and Ryan have talked about, staying after, texting your buddies to hit or to throw. And if you do that, like at bat to at bat, game to game, then you'll never get too high, you'll never get too low. And you'll always be one of those players that is kind of how do you say it? Kind of just even keeled. They're not one who's going to be obnoxious, but they're not the one that's always pouting. I think if you go into that with that humble attitude, then no matter what happens game to game, then you're going to learn from it and you're going to grow from it.
And it's not finite, right? It doesn't end. It's just a pattern of work, which is something that since I got here, I think with that 2017 team, you guys did a good job, like showing people that extra work is kind of what you do. Like you're humble in who you are, right? And you know that if you don't get out to the field at least once on a weekend, you might get blown up the next week. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. The humility piece is huge. I love that quote. I stole it from somebody. But that's good stuff. And especially at the youth level, like sorry, parents and players, youth guys that are watching this, but no one cares about your stats. No one cares about your trophies, right? It's about what you do, you know, when you're in high school, when you go into college ball. And at that point, it's just being the best player you can be. So I love that humility piece, and that's huge. How about you, Rye? Some advice to current and former players?
First of all, I just want to agree with what Ben said. I think, really nobody likes the guy that is acting like, oh, I'm the best player on this field. No doubt nobody's even close to me. Like, nobody really likes that guy. Like, you should just be everyone's friend. Like, you're all there doing the same thing. But my advice, something that has helped me a lot, and it continues to help me now, is taking reps in the mirror. You know, strip down to compression shorts, because when you're in the mirror, you can see yourself kind of face to face, and you can envision yourself, and you can envision yourself in situations that you'll someday be in. Something that I've actually been doing lately since I've been home and bored is I'll take reps in the mirror, and then I'll notice something, and then I'll head to YouTube and start watching slow motion videos of the pros doing it. So take notes on, pick your favorite players and who you want to model your game after, and just watch how they do it. And obviously they're doing something right because they're making millions of dollars doing it. So, model your game after somebody, pick your favorite player and do what they do. So that's something that I've been doing, and then practicing in the mirror. It actually helps a lot more than you'd expect.
Sam, how about you? Advice to current and future players, or advice that you wish you had gotten when you were a youngster?
One of the biggest things for me is working extremely hard in the classroom. And I had to learn that the hard way. And I wasn't the best student at all in high school or my freshman year of college. And just seeing how much that can affect someone's baseball career by not working hard in the classroom is crazy, because we have kids, even at my college, who aren't eligible because they don't pass their classes, and then they just quit and they're just done. Or even in high school, getting the emails from Fees saying to go to his office and talk to him and try to get your school figured out. Like, those meetings aren't fun, and it's not fun being in that position, and it puts a lot of extra stress on you that you don't need when you're already in school and going to baseball every day. So honestly, just working extremely hard in the classroom and staying on top of your school and getting that taken care of is one of the biggest things for me, at least.
And like developing those habits at a young age, man. I don't
exactly.
care in third grade or a senior in high school, like developing study habits, and guys figure out really quickly that, your grades and your academics and your behavior and your attendance can impact what's happening on the baseball field, for sure.
Exactly.
So taking care of business in the classroom, Sam, that's great advice. Cool. Anything else you guys want to add to this as we were wrapping up here?
I don't have anything.
Good.
Good, Ben?
Yeah.
Go Miners.
Good.
Go Miners, man.
Go
Well,
Miners.
awesome talking to you guys. I love you guys. It's awesome to connect with our alums. I'm so excited to kind of keep that network rolling, and hopefully when we get lifted from this thing May 1st, hopefully we get to play some baseball, and we'll have you guys out to throw the ceremonial first pitch or something like that.
For sure, that'd be fun. Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.